Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the mildly interesting video. Black Mirror Season 6 has just come out last Thursday. Now here's the thing, Black Mirror is like one of my favorite TV shows of all time. It's up there with like Severance, Dark, Chernobyl, Stranger Things. I love those shows so much, and Black Mirror is like one of, if not my most favorite TV show of all time. The gist of Black Mirror is that it's an anthology series exploring the dark side of our human nature, often by using technology that could happen in the future. Essentially going like, this is what people will do when they're given that power, or here's what technology can do to us if we allow it to control us this way. It's really something else. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before. And the thing about every episode is that like it's so varied, it's so like different from like any other episode. Like literally one of the episodes takes place in space. Two of them take place in space. So the result is that like despite like all of these like different episodes and like films that we see throughout the entire series, they're all bound by one thing, the dark side of the human nature. I was really excited when Season 6 got announced, and now that I had just finished the entire season yesterday, here is my review on every single episode on Season 6 of Black Mirror. Let's do this. Episode 1, Joan is Awful. This was a really interesting episode. It's essentially about this ordinary woman who works at this like ordinary job, finding out that her life has been adapted into this prestige TV drama portrayed by Salma Hayek out of all things in Netflix. Wait, no, sorry, Streamberry. Please don't sue me, Netflix. I hate you. So, this was an incredibly interesting premise. I have never seen anything like this on Black Mirror. It was like, how are they doing this? What's like going on over here? The first half like really sets the tone, like what's going on with Joan and like how it's affecting her life. Like she lost her fiance, she lost her job. But then the second half just becomes like this more comedic tone when like Salma Hayek and Annie Murphy join forces together. And honestly, I don't really mind. The entire episode was like entertaining from start to finish. Annie Murphy is an amazing actor when it comes to this. And I love Salma Hayek's accent when she swears. Like the way that she speaks, her accent, it's just something that I really like a lot. I don't know why. And there's even a plot twist for the ending, which completely changes everything that you've seen. And it actually like helps make sense of like, why are there so many celebrities? Like how is Annie Murphy, Salma Hayek, Ben Barnes, Michael Cera, how are they all in this one episode? They actually managed to write that into the plot twist at the end, which changes everything. Overall, it was a 10 out of 10 episode for me. It was extremely entertaining and I loved it. It was an amazing start to Black Mirror Season 6. Episode 2, Lock Henry. Now at first, when you're watching this episode, it may not really feel like a Black Mirror episode, but please keep watching. Now yes, when I'm looking back at it, this really didn't feel like any other Black Mirror episode. It's really like a crime investigation, like the behind the scenes of like two people like filming like a nature documentary, but then quickly shifting gears to making a true crime documentary when they're like interested by the events of the past. And while like the first like 95% of the episode admittedly doesn't feel very Black Mirror, like there's not even any sci-fi tech in it. The last 5% really saved the entire episode. It really made the episode feel like a Black Mirror episode. Like the ending, which involves a huge plot twist that I'm not going to spoil. Let's just say the ending really changes everything. I'm gonna try to not, I hope that this is not too big of a spoiler, but it essentially like shows like how we dramatize and like sensationalize like these like tragedies that like happen in real life. And like while we ignore like all of the victims in the past that are affected by this in a way. And from actually what I read online, this was like basically like a middle finger to Netflix with like the way that they dramatize and sensationalize these true crime stories. Honestly, really amazing episode. I would give it a 9 out of 10. Episode 3, Beyond the Sea. Now, I totally understand why people see this as like the best episode out of the entire Season 6 catalog. It has like this really unique sci-fi tech. Like, essentially the idea is that like these two men are on a space mission that's gonna last 6 years. So to keep them from like dying of loneliness and boredom with each other, the government has created replicas on Earth, like kind of robots in a way. And if nothing's wrong with the ship, they can transfer their consciousnesses into the robots on Earth so that they can spend time with their families. But when the other astronaut's replica is destroyed and his entire family is killed, the partner decides to let him go into his robot body in a way on Earth to like help maintain his sanity and like help paint on Earth. It doesn't go really well. Honestly, this technology is incredibly interesting. Even like looking back at like all the previous 20 or so Black Mirror episodes that we've seen so far, this is incredibly unique technology, something that we have never really seen before. And they actually managed to explore like what is it like when there's like two consciousnesses inside one body. Like what are the ramifications on the relationship? Like what if that alternate personality that's only there for a short while happens to be better than the personality that like the real happens to be better than the real personality that takes over for like most of the time. It's an incredibly interesting premise, and the final plot twist was genuinely shocking. The moment I saw that shot, I was like, no. I was like, no, this can't be real. And then it was real. Honestly, this genuinely feels like an actual Black Mirror episode. Like, it's dark in its nature. It explores like the dark side of humanity in a way, and how technology can help manifest that. It's really, really interesting. Josh Hartnett, Aaron Paul, and Kate Mara did an amazing job with the acting in this episode. They made them feel like actual, real-life characters. Overall, I can completely see why a lot of people consider this to be the best episode of Black Mirror Season 6. I also give this a 10 out of 10. Episode 4, Maisie Day. What was that plot twist at the end? Okay, let me explain the episode's premise. It's about this famous Hollywood actress who's trying to escape the invasive paparazzi while trying to deal with the aftermath of a hit-and-run incident that she caused. It actually starts off like pretty interesting and pretty very Black Mirror-y in a way, showing the dark side of humanity, how we value money over privacy, how like we don't like really tend to like consider the lives of like the people that we are affecting or essentially like cyberbullying off into the internet. Like how we usually tend to ignore all of that just for a small payday. And like the lengths that we will go to just to get that. That was incredibly interesting. It was like an amazing Black Mirror episode. So I was like really confused with like the IMDb ratings. Like, why is it 5.3 out of 10? This is starting out pretty good. It shows the dark side of human nature. Is that what Black Mirror is all about? Like, sure, there may be no sci-fi, but still, really amazing. I mean, just because a Black Mirror episode does not have sci-fi, it does not mean that it's not good. So, what ruined this episode? The final plot twist. That came so out of nowhere. I was like watching that episode on a bus, and when that plot twist came out, I was like, what? What? At first I was like, oh my gosh, that explains everything. But then I actually started to think about the episode more, and I was like, wait a minute. What? That came so out of nowhere. There was no lead up, no build up, no setup, no any kind of up whatsoever. The only up that it had was a screw up because it pretty much destroyed everything that came before it. What started off as a really solid Black Mirror episode, the third act essentially ruins with one pure shock value plot twist. And it works well in the first time watching it because it generally does come out of nowhere, like it's completely unexpected. I mean, that's what you are supposed to expect this season. Expect the unexpected. That's what Charlie Brooker said in Netflix to them. But the consequence of this unexpected plot twist is that it ruins everything that came before it. However, this does not mean that Maisie Day is an unwatchable episode. It's actually like very much watchable. You can get through it. It's pretty entertaining. It's like really interesting to see. And if it's the first time that you're watching it, you're constantly going like, what's gonna happen at the end? Like, this is Black Mirror. There's gonna be some sort of twist. What twist is it gonna be? I also give it a 9 out of 10 because it was just incredibly enjoyable to me. That plot twist really did come out of nowhere. And the first time watching it, I really liked it a lot. But now I don't really like it a lot. Why am I giving this a 9 out of 10? Score it, 7 out of 10. Fifth and final episode, Demon 79. Now, this is actually the first film in like the Red Mirror lineup of Black Mirror. And from what I understand, Red Mirror will focus more into like the supernatural side of stuff. At first people thought like, oh, it's gonna be like more so like horror stuff. But after watching this episode, I don't think it's really that. I think it's more so just like general supernatural episodes in general. And it kind of confirms that like Black Mirror is not really about technology and sci-fi. It's more about the dark side of human nature. And it kind of shows here as well. Basically, in this episode, this woman realizes that she has to kill 3 people in 3 days or else nuclear Armageddon is going to happen. And she's going to be accompanied by this demon named Gap who dresses up as the man from Boney M. I am not kidding, here's the photo. I'm gonna be honest, this is more of a comedy or funny episode. Like, most of the funny stuff like comes from Gap. And the way that the episode like shows the dark side of humanity is kind of a little lame, but it still does the trick. And honestly, the comedy like kind of saves the entire episode for me. Like, it's pretty funny at times. I just realized that like the episode actually referenced the Sensei, I just want to say I'm a huge fan meme. I just realized they actually referenced that. I will say like the entire episode is like also like riveting in a way. Like from the get-go, we established that like this department store worker, Nita, she kind of has like a habit of like imagining herself like killing or like hurting other people in a way. And so we're like wondering through like the entire episode, like, is it real or is it not? Like, so it kind of like has like this like sense of like tension in you inside a way. I will say the ending was really, really beautiful. That was a really, really nice choice of music that they had there. I really liked it a lot. Fit the ending amazingly well. Overall, even though it didn't really feel that very Black Mirror-y to me, because like from like the past year of watching the series, I've more so associated Black Mirror with like sci-fi and other stuff, and this is like the first time like they've clearly taken a supernatural approach to this. But still, they managed to show the dark side of humanity, although it's not that prevalent, but the comedy pretty much saves the entire thing in a way. So I'm going to be giving this an 8 out of 10. Really enjoyable film. Honestly, the entire season was really enjoyable. No matter what they say about the episodes, you will definitely be able to watch this. This was really fun. So here is my overall view on the season. Every single episode was incredibly enjoyable, even though some of them didn't really feel like the old Black Mirror that we used to know. I mean, this is the first time that they've clearly taken a supernatural approach to this. And most of the other episodes feel very lighthearted, especially Joan is awful, I'm gonna be completely honest over here. Still though, they were all incredibly entertaining, and if you're looking for like a good night of watch, I would recommend watching this. My favorite episode from the entire series would honestly be Joan is Awful. It comments on like technology that's like literally happening right now. Andy Murphy and Salma Hayek have amazing chemistry with each other at the end. And Salma Hayek's accent when she swears, I absolutely love it. And the plot twist was honestly like a huge mind screw. I kind of wish like they put more thought into it, but honestly with what we got, I liked the plot twist a lot. It was really, really good. It was able to be dark and light at the same time, although I would still give the points to USS Callister and Nosedive for being able to balance the dark side of Black Mirror and human nature with the comedy, lighthearted stuff. But I'm gonna be honest, Beyond the Sea is for sure the most Black Mirror-esque of the entire roster this season that we got. It's incredibly unique technology, even though we're looking back at like 25 or more so episodes of the entire series. This one is the most unique ever. We've never seen really anything like this. And honestly, I cannot wait for Black Mirror Season 7. Not just because I'm hoping that they can improve it, but because I just can't get enough of severe existential dread and depression!